Whoa, bro. Technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. Wow. Ooh-wee. Okie doke. Wait for people to come in. When you are in here, give a salam. We're going to give it a couple of minutes to let people get back in. Join us. Join us in the stream. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Harun, the American convert. Let's bring him up. I wish there was an easier way to do this. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tab M. I do this on my phone because the camera is way better than my laptop. Let's post this. Boom, boom, and boom. There we go. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dan, the man. What do you think of me and Mrs. Muslim? Bruh. What do you mean of you and Mrs. Muslim? Yeah, anybody can come up. Anybody can come up. We're just getting people, letting, a little bit of time go by so people can jump in. But the link is above. Man, something's going on with my throat. So Dan, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dan, I don't think that you are Mr. Muslim though, because then your name would be Jay, right? Harun, if you could come up here and join me, inshallah. Okay, you're making coffee this late? You can go to sleep? If I have coffee anywhere around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I ain't going to sleep. I cannot go to sleep. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit hoarse. Anyway, okay, let's get started, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So today, let's bring the guest up. Bayhaqi Marzuki. Is he?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Bayhaqi, where are you from? Do we know each other from Twitter or?
Oh no. I never spoke to you like this before. This is the first time. I'm from Malaysia.
Oh, apa kabar? Kabar baik.
Kabar baik. That's unexpected. How are you, brother? You coughing earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. My throat is a little bit dry, but let's get started, inshallah. We'll wait for Harun to make his coffee, and then you can chime in, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, the reason why, wa alaikum salam, Abu Rakun, the reason why I made this post, I want to kind of take the temperature of the ummah. What do people think? Now, this is not an attack towards converts or even new Muslims. It's really not. The subject is, should converts be making dawah? I'll tell you why I made this live stream. So the reason is I go to TikTok here, every once in, not too much, but I look on TikTok and oh man, how to say this politely? I mean, I've been Muslim for 31 years, so I know what it is to be a new Muslim. So that being said, I do go on TikTok, I do go on YouTube, I do see new converts coming to Islam. But like, for example, I was on TikTok today and there was, let me not say her or where she's from or her name or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I always see her, actually, I always see about 4 that are on TikTok. I see some new revert guys too, about 2 of them. It's mostly women, right? I see about 2 brothers that converted to Islam. And what I mean by new, I guess we should kind of like define what is new. Alaikum salam, young man. New Muslim to me is anywhere from 0 to 3 years. And even that has a caveat, kind of. It depends on if you convert to Islam and you waste your time. Like, I know Muslims that convert to Islam, right away they get to the studying, and they master Aqidah, they get into the fiqh. You see them actively learning how to be a better Muslim, right? Yeah, if Snake Juice is up here, if he's here, come on the show, man. So what I see on these shows is there's about 3 women that I see in my mind. They get on, they put their makeup on. Some wear hijab, some don't wear hijab. They get their makeup on, they get their kuhul on, they get their, their lip gloss and everything. And they, Assalamu alaikum, guys. Hey, so I'm here to talk about Islam. And then some of the stuff that they say is useful. But a lot of the things that they say, you can tell that they haven't been Muslim for very long, right? And I was in one of these live streams today, maybe like an hour ago, and this woman was on. She converted to Islam, and she was talking about, yeah, so it's tough to be a convert and this and that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want you to do this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to do that, and that's not right, and this isn't right. And you can just tell she didn't know what the hell she's talking about. MashaAllah, again, this is not an attack towards converts or anything. And this is not like a stoplight, as if I can even tell anybody what to do. For new Muslims to stop making da'wah, right? Because when I was new to Islam, I wanted to tell everybody about Islam. But the problem is I wasn't strong in my Islam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, bro? Go ahead. If you want to jump in, whatever you want.
The point is that if you're still new to Islam, try not to go out and do da'wah right away. Arm yourself with knowledge. Don't try to do something that you're still not familiar with. I see a lot of people like this. On you've been on Clubhouse, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that on Clubhouse. So, for example, if somebody a Christian, I don't. This one time, they open up a room, a Muslim and a Christian, Chris Claus. You know him?
Yeah.
They talk about this kind of stuff. Still new revert.
Need to keep their
I don't know
mouths
how
shut.
many years. Oh, who's that? Anyway,
Oh man. Assalamu alaikum. It's
point.
Mr. Snake. doing,
Walaikum
folks?
salam.
Boys and girls.
That's the notorious snake juice.
I know him.
How y'all doing?
Waalaikumsalam, Saint Juice.
Now we'll go ahead, continue, brother. What were you
Hello.
saying?
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, I want to say this brother, he's so how we say lacking, so lacking in knowledge. So in the end, these people, non-Muslim, when they see that it's hurt Islam, it's hurt the Dawah. So my advice is to those who knew or even those who been born Muslim, arm yourself with knowledge. Do not go in. Even for myself, I don't speak most of the time when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. It would backbite so bad that probably won't come up again and say something, even if you got useful information, you know.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just bringing people up. Welcome, Snake Juice. Welcome, Harun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys?
Hey, Michael, you're gonna have to turn your camera on. If you there you go. Now I can add you to the screen. Okay, what do we got going here?
Let's see it. I think it's a puzzle. Let's figure it out. I see tiles. I see it's a lamp. Yeah. What you think it is? A coffee cup, maybe?
It's a floor, definitely. He has my same kitchen floor. Okay, he's gone. Okay.
All right.
So Snake Juice. What do you think? Should new converts just like be quiet, or do you think that they should be limited on what they say about Islam, or what do you think?
Bismillah. I kind of part of me agrees with young man over here. My internet's kind of weak. I don't know if I'm cutting out or you guys can hear me well.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's kind of laggy on my end, so it might kick myself out. But yeah, I kind of agree with this guy. I think definitely everybody has a role to play, but some people upon conversion are a little bit overzealous and take on more than they can handle, but they don't know that. So and you have to realize a lot of these people, the kids that go on TikTok, they already started off on TikTok. Their whole life is being on the phone and making videos. So when they convert, they just keep that part of their life and then infuse their Islam into it, not realizing that sometimes they're causing more damage than good, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen. Like, for example, this one niqabi chick who has like LGBT support, and she identifies as like a pansexual or something. It's wild. I think the homie here has his YouTube channel. At the same time as StreamYard.
Yeah, you got your YouTube channel on.
I think the homie here has his...
There you go.
There you go.
Now there's a buzz.
All right. No, I just wanted to stop by and say hi. And I'm sorry about the mess. I wasn't aware about.
Are you good, man?
It's all good. I'm taking pictures of it right now.
Yeah,
don't. I'm embarrassed. Like, honestly, I didn't want to put on the camera. No, I just wanted to say
salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Tali, we haven't seen you before, but welcome to the channel.
Thank you. No, I'm Norwegian, actually. That's why I kind of got interested in your story.
Are you a new convert?
New, I wouldn't say so. I did my Shahada in 2014, and the journey to Islam was quite long. Like, I learned about Islam when I was 16. So that would be 20 years ago.
Okay.
So, but I didn't get committed until 2014. And like, one of the issues that I've had, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous because it's the first time I'm on a camera and everything. No, the only input I have is like, if you're a new convert, like, you should do dawa. You should, but stick know your limitations. Like the message of Islam is fundamentally easy to understand and easy to.
It's very simple. That's right.
So God is one, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger, and the evidence is it's there. Like, so stick to that. And then when they start asking you about Aisha and fiqh and how to wear a hijab and how to cut your beard, like just say I don't know, but it's not relevant. Let's just talk about whether or not there is a God, and then we can talk about is God one, and then we can talk about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah, I agree. Want to welcome real quick to the stream, Michael. Michael, I'm sorry, you and I haven't met before. I don't know if you're a Muslim or not, but welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I know you haven't met me before, but nice to talk with you, I guess.
You too.
Both of you are seniors to me, but I have a modest 10 years as Muslim, alhamdulillah.
Is that an age joke, Ali? Is that he's saying we're old?
Yeah, so I'm I've
white,
reached, I'm entering the baligh state, I'm like getting into the 10 years, kidding, but
Mashallah, good.
I just to kind of contribute to the conversation, I think someone said, and I want to actually contest that, if so it's what we're talking about really is there's two questions. One is, can new Muslims run their mouths and mess up, which I think we agree is yes. And the second one is, are they bad at making dawah? And I would maybe contest that point, because in a way I feel like they're probably pretty brave, that in some of them anyway, they'll just really put themselves out there if they're that kind of person. There's different kinds of converts really, but if the ones that are open to making dawah, I feel like in a lot of ways, they have like a certain kind of energy that can excite people. And I do think that that's sort of, maybe that's a reason to not tell them not to, but give them some guidance on what they should do and say. That's all I wanted. Maybe someone can add on that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I get that. I mean, I guess let's all come up with. And by the way, welcome Khalil. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Assalamu
alaikum. What is?
I agree with Michael. There's definitely two questions there, and at the end of the day, I mean, like the brothers already said, Islam is very simple. There's 5 pillars. We have Allah and the Rasul, and also there's a difference between some ignoramus getting online and speaking and somebody who at least knows the fundamental axioms of truth, at least.
Yeah. Yo, Snake Juice, where are you at, bro? I don't see you, but I hear you.
Malik, he's hiding me.
He wants to remain.
He's not worthy.
Nah, put me up, man. Put me up. Let me be next to Khalil.
I know the voice. I know it's Snake Juice.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
I guess there's a point where we should discuss what is a new Muslim. Like, and my point is, a new Muslim is 0 to 3 years, depending on what that new Muslim does with his time, right? When I became Muslim in prison, we didn't have books. We weren't allowed books. We were allowed a Quran and one other Islamic book. We weren't allowed any other books. So I spent 2 more years as a Muslim in prison, not knowing much, right? But when I got out of prison, then all the doors opened and I was allowed books and I was allowed to go here and talk to other Muslims and learn. But I think in my opinion, I think it's 0 to 3 years, depending on what the new Muslim is doing. Like, you get on TikTok, Khalil, I know you see it. Harun, I know you see it. They get on and they say, hey, I'm Muslim. So I'm gonna put, I'm gonna grow my beard, which is sunnah. That's fine. It's actually it's fard, and I'm gonna put on, they look like Lawrence of Arabia, yet they don't know much about Islam. That's what kind of makes me upset. I have no problem with any new Muslim making dawah. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like
Hope not.
It doesn't put me off at all. But some of these people do, like that person that I was watching today. She was just going off about all kind of nonsensical stuff, and I just thought, I wish she wouldn't be on TikTok. I wish she would just, because this is the thing. I see her on TikTok every day. Literally, if I turn on TikTok like at 6 a.m., she's there. 12 o'clock, she's there. 3 o'clock, she's there. 6 o'clock, she's there. 8 o'clock, she's there. And she's like, what? Becoming a Muslim is like, and it's just, it's so annoying. Who wants to chime in? Arun, I think you're
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, so
why doesn't it have me on the screen up there? Do I have to log back in?
I let you on the screen.
I don't know,
Your
man,
camera?
my internet's my camera isn't working on the laptop. It's my brother's laptop.
And by the way,
it's
Amina, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so what I see is exactly what you're talking about, Eddie, is that the stylish hijab, or I don't know, it's niqab or hijab or whatever, with the face open, about 2 pounds worth of eyeshadow and mascara and rouge, and there's what's the message that you're trying to put out is that this is a pretty face and I need people to watch it. And the intent is sometimes lost because of the face and the curling of the eyelashes and everything. The intent that what she put out there was probably, mashallah, it's a good message. But who's really looking at the message and who's really following because of the message? They're following because it's a face. And I'm again it. I just. Alhamdulillah, sisters have their place. I don't want to say that there's no place in dawah for sisters. They have their place, but sometimes it's a distraction, and that's not needed in this field. And even for me, I mean, if I come and I start doing extravagant things, and you see me where I'm, showing off and bragging about my Lambo and my big things that I have, then at that point it probably starts looking kind of like it's a social media star instead of a person propagating dawah.
Yeah, if I see you with fake eyelashes, Harun, I'm done with you. I'm done.
Yeah, I agree with Harun for sure.
Hey, Khalil. So Khalil,
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. What do you think? Weigh in, man. What do you think?
Now your wife's listening, so be careful, son. I think he's still looking for snake juice.
Let me try putting it on. Hold on. Ali, you can actually put the names, because if the camera doesn't work, you can put the names on the StreamYard, so it shows.
Well, I think it's because
that's
he's
all
got
good.
this young man's comment still up right now. If you take the comment down, everybody's names will show back up.
Okay.
Oh.
Whoops.
See, new Dawah guys do have some knowledge.
It should be just click. It should just be a little circle there in the comments. You don't even have to scroll up to it. You just click that circle there. It'll say stop comment thing.
It'll say hide this comment over on the
That's right.
side.
Yeah, it won't. We don't have to find it.
Insert boomer joke.
Ron, I'm gonna hop off for now. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, brother. Alaikum salam. I want to say something before you leave.
Yeah.
The comment that you made was that if you know La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and then what was the other thing that you said? That Muhammad is, well, basically that's it. There's no God but God. Muhammad's the prophet of God. That, that's enough. If you know that much, teach that much. That's what we know. And, the rest is character. The rest is just character, what we were speaking on the other day. So, Jazakallah khair for that. I appreciate that.
Hey, yeah, Tali.
Thank you. Yeah,
Appreciate you stopping by the show. We'll see you next time, inshallah.
inshallah ta'ala.
So,
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I don't know if you hear me, Khalil, but I was asking you, what do you think about this whole thing? Weigh in, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, interesting position for me. I'm a Muslim of about a year and a half, and I have a full-time YouTube stream to where I give dawah. So I mean, I'm within that 1 to 3 years. I
Right.
give
Yeah,
dawah.
but Khalil, you when I see you and like the girls, for example, like the niqabis that he's talking about, it's a whole different like gang,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what I do is I've spent a lot of time and effort trying to get the right answers to what I do know, and if I don't know, I keep my mouth shut. Because if you give someone the wrong answer, one, you're destroying the ummah. Two, that's bad for you on a personal level for the day of judgment. If you don't have the correct answer, or if we got brand new Muslims out here answering questions on fiqh, no, you just defer to a scholar. Apostasy laws, scholar. Go find an imam. Go find somebody who literally does this for a living, whose job is to hand out fatwas and make these judgments. That's not for us here on YouTube to do. So if you don't know, keep your mouth shut, speak on what you do know, and have some good brothers and sisters who are knowledgeable around if you need to pick their brain. It's as simple as that. It's safe for a new Muslim to give dawah. Honestly, I believe, like for me, I was an atheist for 12 years. I spent a year and a half to 2 years studying Islam, trying to refute it. Right? So while I was an atheist, I gained a lot of knowledge about Islam prior to me taking my Shahada. I was able to recite 3 surahs before I even took my Shahada. I knew Surah Al-Fatiha, I knew Surah Ikhlas, and I knew Surah Al-Nas. I knew all 3 of those, how to recite them with decent tashweed prior to me even taking my Shahada. And then I learned about the Prophet, peace be upon him. I read, When the Moon Split. I started looking at tafsir, like Tafsir Ibn Kathir. I started looking at all of that stuff prior to coming to Islam. And so I would say a year and a half, I have about 3 years worth of deep knowledge that I literally stop watching TV shows and I study. I don't watch Wheel of Fortune and then get on and give dawah. Like I'm going to study and speak on what I know about and keep my mouth shut on what I don't know about. That's it. It's that simple.
Truth.
Let me ask you, Khalil, or anybody up on the panel. Why do you think it's mostly, and this is not an attack, I've already been counseled by women, Muslim women anyways, the liberal left women. So I'm going to just say this anyways. Why do you think that it's mostly women who convert to Islam and then, they make a video, here's me with my new hijab on and I got an anbaya and look, I got a Gucci bag to go with it. And look, kohol and, lip gloss. And now I'm a Muslim guy, Assalamu alaikum. And they're the ones, and honestly, women that are out there watching this is not an attack. We're talking about the tough issues that are really going on, right? So Khalil, Michael, Juice, everybody on the panel, why do you think it's them and not guys like Khalil, where he knew 3 surahs even before he took Shahada?
The short answer is the culture breeds that. But yeah, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
I mean, back to what I was saying when I started talking. Really, I didn't really touch on the whole social media aspect of it, and I feel like that has to change a lot of things, because in my mind, I pictured myself, a brand new Muslim, and I, just rushing to talk to all of my friends and be like, I became a Muslim, and like, this is the Quran and this is what it says in the Quran. And it's like, it's maybe that's I'm sure I might have said something wrong in that at that time too. I probably did for a long time, but I still I felt like I did probably on the whole probably more good than bad when I talked to people about Islam at that stage even. But that was in person, and that was kind of like, and I probably did still have some kind of humility, but yeah, I mean, I think in terms of social media, you're just that's kind of where people are starting in a lot of places. It's kind of, that's what people know, is they know that they can go online and get a lot of views by doing this. So they want to mix that thing that they know works and promote Islam, but even though there's a contradiction in the principles. I can't agree with that, but maybe someone knows a solution to that. I don't know.
Also, this is the new world. This is the new way of communication. This is the new way of, us getting to hang out with each other. And especially for the youngsters, I mean, they know far more than what we do. I mean, I've got so much stuff that I learn every day from my kids. And, my kid showed me the other day, it's like, yeah, there's a website that people can see exactly where you're at from your YouTube channel. Like, they'll know your home, they'll know everything about it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, yeah, this is it right here. He shows me, I mean, this thing exists. And, for people like us that, we have, there's a lot of different people that I don't want to know where my home's at, but, it just, but this is the new world. So it might be just the outlet and the way also that I'm just playing, both sides of the, the coin, to where this is the way that they go to seek education. And yet they haven't received that education. And they're kind of learning by the hard knocks, learning of life by life, making the mistakes. But there's no room for making mistakes in this, especially if you're making it public. Because if you misguide one person, you've, like what Khalil just said, is you've misguided millions of people, and you're responsible for that on the day of judgment. So I don't know is the best answer in the world, and we have to practice that. Just, I don't know, I have to do it. I enjoy talking, and sometimes I misspeak, but I don't know. We have to, we have to get that as our go-to answer for every question.
You know what I
sure,
think?
yeah. There's like a, there's a fine line to speak. Sorry, Ali, go. Yeah, there's a fine line to walk on. I guess back then they had, a town square, and a guy would speak at the top of his lungs and preach, or give the daily news or the monthly news or whatever. And TikTok is that for this generation, if you want to call it that.
That's my fear about people like this getting popular through Dawah, because I grew up in a time before social media. Before the internet was even a thing, right? So back in the day, we would have to sit down and talk with people that we knew that were trustworthy, right? So this is my fear. I'll tell you, this is for 31 years. My fear is people will get addicted to that dopamine hit of that one sister or brother that comes on, hey guys, assalamu alaikum. Did you know that Allah, blah, blah, blah. And it's just this whole showmanship of like YouTube, like I'll call it YouTube energy. Like, hey guys, how you doing? My name's this and that, and they're all hyper and look like they're on some crank or something. I'm afraid that they'll be addicted to that dopamine hit rather than the haqq, like the truth of Islam. That's what I fear, because those people are
for sure
popular, influential, and everybody's like, oh man, I didn't pray for like 5 years, and now through this brother's videos, I'm back to praying now. So it's something like, should I say something about it, or should I not say something about it, because people are coming back to Islam and back to Islam. What do you brothers think? Anybody?
Also, we're in an age of information overload. I mean, also kind of what you're going off is people back then had to do hijrah and find the authentic scholars, seek this knowledge. It wasn't just a quick Google search or go see a 16-year-old girl on TikTok telling you about fiqh matters, you know. And it's people are inundated with information and attention span, and these apps do feed off of that, and they breed that, you know, these quick little dopamine hits with every scroll. They try to every mission statement is to keep you on basically the website, hence the related videos on YouTube or whatever. It's to keep you locked in and using it, you know. But people also with a lot of this information is dangerous because you don't actually hold on to a lot of it, you know. Google it, yeah. It's crazy how we have so much information at our tips, but we're some of the most ignorant people nowadays.
But back then, we also had newspapers and books and things like that were being written, so that information didn't disappear. Today, I can just go delete it, or whoever controls that server can just go delete or change. And so, you know, the information that happens, I mean, it can go away, and then people will forget, you know, like back in the day, no, they didn't forget. You know, my grandmother, when we were throwing away her things, she had newspaper clippings from like the 40s, just where she would, just clip out a newspaper article that she thought was interesting. So they kept that information back then, and it was hard. It was a hard copy, but nowadays the reality of everything can change in just a second.
I mean, it was like a documented, you know, it's a documented historical timeline, and now we have timelines on Facebook.
That's right.
And that's when my video went viral, like when my convert went, I think 161,000 views on my convert story. People were coming and saying, you know, some people were saying, brother, you need to do close-ups and then angles, and you need to put music in your videos, and you need to, you know, do like, I'm like, bro, I don't do that. First of all,
put a Christmas tree in the background too.
Right. I mean, first of all, I don't know how to, like, I'm a beginner at this. Second of all, I press record and I say what I say before I even come on YouTube or anything. I check my heart, you know, to you know, actually to hold myself accountable for what I'm about to say and why I'm saying it. Right. Like, I could care less about, you know, close-ups and, you know, the shot goes and hey, and, you know, these 1-2 second clips. I could care less. Like, I just try to be sincere as I can and talk about, you know, tough things or, you know, conversations that people are not comfortable having is what I meant to say. And like, I could care less about that. You know, I would rather be seen 100 years from now or 200 years from now as, yeah, that guy is not so exciting. He's like boring, but he's on point. What he said was on point. That's the type of legacy that I want to leave behind. But I think Khalil was going to say something, or Michael. Go ahead.
Yeah, to kind of go in a little direction. You know, I have a question now. Do you know what the sort of long-term prospects are for a lot of these dais, if you call it that? I think you're muted. Am I muted?
No, you're good.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Do I need to repeat myself? Did he
started
cut out?
Loading, buffering for a second.
Okay. Right. I was just saying, I in some ways, I want to have compassion for all of these dais, but I'm curious to know, how, do they stick with that kind of thing? You're muted. Can you not hear? I think
we can hear you. It's just us that's muted.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm curious to know, if these, especially I guess Muslim women who are doing this, do they stick with that for 5 months, 6 months, and then realize that, well, okay, I didn't like that, and they shut it down. And then another one goes up and just kind of, it's just kind of like this phase of a new Muslim, and then they eventually close it down. Or do these people stick around for a long time, and is that like all that they know and that's all that they do? I'm curious about that as well.
Good point.
If you have any comments on that.
Does anybody hear
I
me?
think that's a very, very good point.
Now we hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, my internet went out. Did you hear my question before or no?
No. I think, well, you gave it to one of us, and then you looked at us funny.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about my
Yeah,
this is Oklahoma, man. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yes, so kind of like to speak on what you just said, brother.
Yeah.
The woman you see down there at the bottom of the screen, Medina Dawah, that is actually my wife, and she is a Muslim of about 9 months. So she is a baby Muslim, along with myself. I'm about a Muslim of about 1.5 years. But what she specializes in, she went to Cedarville University for Christian theology, exegetical readings, and hermeneutics. So me and her kind of work as a team when it comes to like just having discussions with Christians. I was almost a pastor at one point in my life. So we specialize in polemics when it comes to Christianity and basically having discussions and debates on that. But she, right along with me, we were just on my stream just not 20 minutes ago, and she was going in on a Christian, and she speaks of what she knows, and she keeps her mouth shut about what she doesn't know, just like I do. So I don't think she can do this whole 5 months thing and be like, Islam wasn't really for me. We're married. We're married. So she's stuck in it for the thing.
No choice.
I think Michael's point hinges on something else, not like obviously you guys have backgrounds that have facilitated that, but Michael's point is potent because it's kind of like gambling when you make the money, like easy come, easy go, and it's such a true cliche, but I'm sure many of us here have experienced it, like something that you attain easily, you lose it just as quick. And it goes back again to that information overload and whatnot. So these people just get inundated, and then maybe get overwhelmed or whatever, or maybe they're too overzealous to begin with.
Well, I actually didn't mean to say that. Well, that they end up not, they end up losing their faith or something. I actually was more hopeful that they might mature and kind of step out of the makeup and other aspects that would be, like flirtatious and sensational. And maybe have a more.
Everybody, age gets to everybody, and eventually, sometimes these women get married. So, are their husbands going to be chill with it? And is she going to be doing this at 40 years of age? You know what I mean, or whatever the case. But
it's about the type of attention.
Obviously. The thing about the makeup and presenting yourself, what we're talking about now, is it's the similitude of that is like me or another guy converting to Islam, 6 months, a year, or whatever, and then I do a TikTok video. So I'm I got barbells, dumbbells. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Look at those guns.
I want to talk about Islam with you guys today.
You got a 3-month-old Muslim giving dawah in a mufti mink costume.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
That's what I'm saying.
They got the whole outfit.
And that's my point. That's my point. When these,
like, dude, you live in America. Sorry.
That's my point. When these sisters come on with the everything and the fake lashes and the lip gloss and the makeup, that's cringe to me. Just like it would be cringe to a woman to watch some guy working out and talking about Islam and making dawah. Is it sincere? I don't know, but I want to like piggyback off something what Khalil said. his wife has been Muslim for 9 months. Here's the thing. If you're a Christian, if you are almost a priest or a pastor or a youth minister or whatever, I think that is the convert's niche. That is our niche because we were born and raised in Christianity. I went to church 3 days a week when I was a Christian: Wednesday Bible study, Friday youth night, and Sunday church. So therefore, that category, us are extremely valuable, and we can answer those questions to the, what's this Islam thing all about? We can talk to those people. What I'm saying is, dressing like Mufti Mink, like the brother said, dressing like Mufti Mink. And alhamdulillah, nahmadu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. I just reverted 2 weeks ago. I mean, come on, really. I don't buy it. I don't think it's sincere. I just think I don't know. I hate to say it, but to me, it doesn't feel sincere. May Allah forgive me. But go ahead, anybody else.
I think also, we're delineating between, obviously not all reverts are going to be equal. That's first and foremost, just as every individual is also unique. That being said, obviously there's going to be different clusters and different formats and different ways of being for different converts. Some will want to attain that knowledge and do it for sincere purposes, and then some others may not have such purposes and may want to just be on social media and garner attention and feed the ego. Now, mind you, even the sincere person can get affected by the ego-driven affairs of social media. That's why I think every person should also check themselves at the end of the day, or maybe even take whatever hiatus they want to take or whatever. Because, I do have brothers even that I know that have gotten off social media just because they felt it was a much needed break, But yeah.
Hey, Michael, could I do a favor? Could I move you down? We have another brother that wants to come up, inshallah. Could I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, brother. And thank you for coming to the show. Appreciate
Okay.
you, man.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum
Lot of people trying to get up here.
I want to say, brother, friendly Muslim, you look very dapper this evening. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
That is.
Boy, thank you.
At first, I thought it was Hogwarts, but then I had to zoom in. But now we know it's. I mean, the accent. I'm sorry.
What do you call an abortion in Harry Potter world?
Oh no, this is Maliki Click. So yeah, go ahead.
Fetus deletus.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Ibrahim.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah, everything's good.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't listening to the beginning of the stream, but I saw the title and I wanted to jump in.
Brother Maliki just blocked Medina Dawah.
Sorry.
How did I block your wife for 5 minutes ago? I'm sorry. What happened?
Yeah.
You blocked Medina?
Yeah.
He really doesn't want Reavers making Dawah. He really doesn't want Reavers making Dawah in the chat.
We're gonna have to make a video to let him learn how to undo that now.
I need a whole tutorial, man.
It's all right. It's all right. She's probably gonna hit that StreamYard link.
If you want to talk about military tactics or guns, I can go for hours, man. But I just cannot understand technology on this thing. I gotta learn.
Okay, man. Boomers get a pass.
This is a PR nightmare just happened right now. we need an apology video.
I need to make a TikTok video, sisters. I'm really sorry.
I got to screenshot that. Where is it?
Muslim blocks another Muslim's wife while he was on the stream.
Brother Michael, so I shared with Ali how to set a StreamYard video in the future, the one that you borrowed, that you loaned to me. I hope you don't mind that I sent it to him. So now we need to ask you if you can make another video on how to unblock Khalil's wife, please.
Well, yeah, he only timed her out for 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, she'll be reinstated in a.
Bro, 5 minutes though, man.
That's even worse. That's like it's just like Pat.
I'm surprised she didn't come up to Khalil. Did you do that, Maliki Click?
Oh wait, actually, my phone's going off.
Picked the wrong time.
Mine too. Hold on a minute.
Put it on speakerphone, yeah, for sure.
Oh
my God.
Oh man, what?
Can't make this stuff up.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? Assalamu alaikum.
How you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
What you eating?
Cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, cinnamon rolls are fire.
Sorry, I just saw the title in the stream and thought I'd get on.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael. What do you think about
it's an important topic? Man, I mean, I'm sure you guys already said it, but it's a problem. Like, and I haven't seen too much. You know, it's not just new reverts, but even some of the young people. I mean, I'm not sure that.
Yeah, good.
I'm not going to say that they shouldn't be on completely in general or this type of thing. And maybe there's a difference between like telling your revert story versus giving dawa. But like you make mistakes. Like you make mistakes as a young Muslim. You make mistakes after you revert. Sometimes big mistakes, and a lot of times you don't stay on the same track that you're on. And like that's all going to happen in real time for some of these people.
I just wanted to add that this issue is not just reverts, by the way. It's also even young Muslims, born Muslims, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's just ignorance. It's giving ignorance a platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is.
And a lot of people have a social belief that their social rules are actually Islam. And it's not, and I get that so much. I get so much social stuff that's shoved down my throat that has nothing to do with Quran or nothing to do with Hadith or anything. But, a lot of people teach that and people are believing it. And that's something also that we have to be careful of. So people that have been in the deen for a long time.
Something I think about, to social media, it just lends itself to so much to just talking about whatever's in the news, and it's supposed to be an alternative to the mainstream news, but all people do is talk about whatever the mainstream is reacting to, whatever the mainstream news is talking about, this type of thing.
Johnny Depp does not need to be covered in our,
Well,
no one needs to review Johnny Depp.
The thing is, too, nowadays, I mean, there's a lot going on in the world nowadays, but the Muslims are not like the focal point of things like we have been in the past. And a lot of these younger people who are given dawah online, they don't know that time at all. And when that time comes again, and it will come again, they're going to be hit with things, and they're going to find themselves saying things that is going to sabotage themselves.
True that.
There's another question. Do you think, do you think that older generations that have been in Islam for a long, or even like born in Islam, do you think that they're just as guilty giving misinformation to the deen? I think they do.
Of course, 100%. It goes back to Harun's point, they mix culture sometimes with deen in it, and it blurs the lines and they conflate culture with deen. Some of them don't even know what's culture, what's deen. They don't know how to separate it. I mean, I've personally seen that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I said, but it didn't sound that smart, Ali. I think you'll agree.
He's got to wait.
Yeah, my wife was wondering, Brother Ali, did you time yourself out for 5 minutes?
Probably.
That's why it went quiet. Silent.
Get that egalitarian feminist BS out of here, boy.
Okay, so let's
Khalil's gonna ban me from his stream now.
Hey, friendly Muslim, I'm just gonna move you down real quick. We're going to bring someone else on. Just a minute. It wasn't me.
Was it Khalil who said, or was it Friendly Muslim who said she was gonna come on?
Well, literally, when I called Khalil, I was like, I was literally just about to message them saying like, maybe it's not the right time for me to come. Can mommy help you? That's very loud. Maybe it's not the right time for, me to come on and, whatever. And then you time me out and I was like, Allahu Alam.
So,
by the way,
what do you think?
Harun, what's in that bowl that you showed?
Kisses. Anybody want to kiss?
Man.
Got almonds in them. when Brother Michael's eating that, I'm sitting here looking in the kitchen to see what's for me to go over there and eat. I want a cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it too late to be eating a cinnamon roll?
No, I have some in the kitchen.
Oh,
That's a dangerous ball, man. That's a dangerous.
Go ahead, Adam.
I can deal with it this late.
Dad, can you see me?
I can see you, buddy.
Where's he at? Oh, there he is.
So
Mashallah.
let's get from a women's point of view from Medina Dawah. By the way, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think that? Why do you think that these new Muslims come on? And by the way, it's not only new Muslims; it's born Muslims that just hate that makeup on. They're like, "Assalamu alaikum, guys. I'm here to tell you about Islam." Some even don't even wear hijab, but they still convey a good message. Like, as a woman, what do you think about this?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I can't stand to guess anybody's intentions. That's the first thing I'll say. The second thing is I think that there was the comment even about why do reverts go straight to Dawah? I think in a lot of ways it's a validation. Like, okay, so this is what I claim to believe now. Let me reinforce it. Let me reinforce it through debate. Let me reinforce it through discourse. Let me reinforce it through sharing what I'm learning and having other Muslims validate it. I think there's a bit of validation. I think that if someone's intention is for attention, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And Allah knows that. And so you'll be rewarded accordingly. That doesn't mean to say that someone who's doing it for the wrong intentions does not do good things. Like I was on TikTok, I would do lives and all of these things before I became Muslim. So me having a presence is not new just since I became a Muslim. And like my husband can probably give you my government name and my city state, and you can Google me and you can find Time magazine articles and United States Department of Labor blogs. I've had a presence before Islam. And now that I am a Muslim, I feel like I need to use my comfortability in front of a camera and use those kind of things for the right reason. I will say, as a baby Muslim, makeup is really hard to let go of. For me, hijab was easy, but I think that there is such it's ingrained in us as Western women that our value is based in our appearance. That's how we're treated. That's why the hijab is beautiful, because it takes away that means of valuation of ourselves. The problem is that it becomes our inner voice because it's been ingrained in us so long. It becomes our inner voice. And so then it's really hard to let go of. So like for me, that's something that I'm still working to let go of. And I think that it's okay to have a bit of a journey. A lot of influencers, they have like their weight loss journey or things like this. So I think it's, in a way, it's okay to share some of those things, and having a balance between sharing a journey and hiding your sins still. I think there has to be a balance of that. And that's, I think that's a personal preference. I think that like what you didn't hear the conversation that I had with my husband before I came on was, he was like, I was like, the panel's full. I don't want to go up. And he's like, oh, well, I'll jump down. I said, absolutely not. You're my wali. You stay on stage. I'm not going to sit on a stage full of men and have you jump down so I can take your spot. That's not going to happen. And doing all these things, my husband has access to everything. And when something, like Christians like to come for me and they like to come for me hard, they really come after me. And if it's something to where I don't have an answer or I'm just unwilling, because it comes to a point where I'm unwilling to engage, but I still think something needs to be addressed, I pass it to him, and that's where that tag team comes in. But I think that there's a lot of insecurity and a lot of fakeness in social media in general. And I don't think that the Muslim community is necessarily immune to that as much as we try to be.
I think, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on TikTok specifically, the heaviest cakers of makeup with the fake lashes and the big mascara and the dark lines come from the women who actually wear niqabs.
Yes. Yes.
This is something, the makeup isn't really the issue, because women wear makeup. I mean, it's
Everywhere,
been done. Yeah, it's
like
I
a
don't think it's the,
compensation, I guess Khalil was
right.
trying to say. Sorry, yeah, Harold, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So I don't think it's the makeup, it's the what you're trying to attract and the attention that you're trying to get. I mean, it's what's attracted to you, and it's, we need to, this is a veil of protection. This is even for men, we wear certain ways, women wear certain ways, and if it's going to attract something that's not right, then that's when it becomes wrong.
For sure.
And
Yeah, good point.
honestly, like that's why hijab was so easy for me, because I had spent a few years in between Christianity and Islam. There was an agnostic period, and I really dove into myself. Like I really became obsessed with myself, and like I became so vain. I spent so much time. I didn't realize how much time I wasted in front of the mirror. And so for me, like being in sales, I don't even think I have to finish that sentence. I was in sales. And so I really, really, really got sick of my appearance being enough and being the only thing that people saw. I got really tired of that. So for me, putting on the hijab was very freeing, and the freedom to be myself and to be seen as myself, not to be seen as for this part or for that part or for this attraction or for that attraction, but for Medina, for for Chloe. That's how I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be seen because I'm smart. I'm funny sometimes, not really. Like, and I wanted to be seen for those things, and it does make me emotional.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like in the Quran, God strikes a parable between a man who's controlled by thousands of masters, and as opposed to the man who has just one master, i.e., the Muslim.
Well,
as opposed to people, chained by the dunya. But yeah.
Yeah, Medina, I see that you're affected by something that you just said. You want to go deeper into that or take a break?
I can. I'm trying to say this the way that I want to say it. The value that Islam places on us is so much deeper than what mainstream society tells us. And I feel like I subscribed to a cheaper version of myself for a really long time, where I didn't even value myself. And I think when I took away the static, in the same way that when we look at marriage in Islam, it takes away the static. You don't have this extra white noise of like the physical stuff, right? You have the meat of it. You get to the point of it. And when you take away all of the static, what's left is who you are, the part that matters. And it makes me...
It peels away the onions, you feel me? Like you get to the core of the onion. And it's almost like a shedding, you shed the old skin.
Yeah. And it's funny because being a Christian for so long, I think, brother, you'll understand what I mean when I say this, that I've never felt more in the new man than I have as a Muslim. And like, honestly, like, think about how hard it was to do your devotions and how hard it was to, like, I mean, you could have an emotional experience at the altar and in praise and worship, but then when you get by yourself in your prayer closet, it's like it hits the roof. And then as a Muslim, when you put your face in the mat,
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then to peel all of that away, and then to be loved so well by a husband who knows me. He doesn't just see me. He knows me. Being seen as cheap, being known as precious. And I
perfectly said.
And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. And I don't know why, that just made me super emotional, but I'm just thankful.
And Khalil, mashallah, she's saying that you're a good husband, man. Mashallah, you're doing it right.
I'll say this. And he's the husband of one wife. Let me preface that. That's not on our radar right now. Let me just preface, no fitna, ladies. But every time I learn more sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, of the way he treated his wives or his character, and then I see that in my husband, and it's almost like it's effortless, because when you're in submission to Allah, that's how you behave. Mm-hmm. And then it just, again, makes me emotional, because, I lived a whole life before Islam, and even the simplest things, like the love language that he expressed to me yesterday it seems so little and it seems so trivial, but to me it was so big. He cleaned our room. and for my ADHD brain, like, that was it was too overwhelming for me. And acts of service being my love language, and being a married single mom before, meaning that I do everything besides work, right? It means a lot. So just the beauty of Islam, and being able to share that, what I do know, because I don't know a lot. I often have told Khalil, I really wish that I could, like, tip my head over and dump out all, like, the Christian stuff, and then just, like, refill it with, Islam in my brain. But I can't do that. So what I can do is learn as much as I can, and then speak on what I do know. And thank you. That was really long-winded, but thank you.
No. Take your time.
Remember, we're not burdened with things that are beyond us. God knows that we can handle them. So actually, that Christian stuff in your mind may be a blessing in disguise. I don't know.
I mean, you saying what you just said to me, and no problem. Take your time. I don't consider it really long-winded. I think that we need to have these discussions.
Sorry, that was my Christian trauma coming through.
No. It's fine. We need to hear that, because now I'm thinking, okay, maybe as new Muslims, everybody has their niche. We have people coming out of Judaism. We have people coming out of gang violence. We have people coming out of prison, like me. Extraordinary journeys to Islam. We have people like you coming from Christianity, Khalil becoming almost an ordained minister, or, youth pastor, whatever. Now I'm kind of thinking, we all have our stations where we can help, or, as the old saying goes, get in where you fit in. I'm starting to agree. I think this conversation proves that we all have our niches.
Yeah.
And that the people that do show up with the makeup and the guys who convert to Islam and they dress like Lawrence of Arabia, 3 days later, I think that we're starting to put down the pillars of, I don't even want to say that, what is sincere, what isn't sincere, because only Allah knows. But I think that this does need to be heard. I think that we all have our space. I have my space.
Yeah.
I come from, a background like Mus'ab ibn Umair, who they said that you could smell him before you saw him, meaning he wore the best of perfumes, and he was very well off. This is how I was born. I was raised. And then I fell to the bottom when I became Muslim, and for 15 years, none of my family would speak to me. None of them. I was all alone. And so I had to go through my journey of prison alone, no family whatsoever except my mother, and new religion. And then I got out of prison. It was really hard to acclimate and find my place as a Muslim, right? But I wanted to let people know about Islam, because, wow, you know, I've never experienced this type of life or this belief before, and I want everybody to know. But sure, I made mistakes, and I think we all make mistakes, and even born Muslims make mistakes. But Jazakallah khair for that. Let's welcome Abu Mujaddid. Are you there? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Yeah, I'm here.
What's up? What's up there?
Not much. No, just how can I say? Yeah, I just first of all, Jazakallah khair for the sister for sharing that. As I was jokingly saying earlier, that hey, you're not a woman. You can't speak in behalf of us. I think it's good that we had this perspective presented here. So just in case in the future, someone runs into it and they're at that stage, where they don't see what they are doing, like how it is not necessarily benefiting, Islam and Muslims, or perhaps even themselves, because they are so in tune with their own personal, like perhaps that's their niche, like when you were describing the, as an example, a sister, who is doing makeup tutorials. Maybe that's her niche, she's just like so good at it. And when she became a Muslim, she just started doing it. But as the sister here, Sister Medina, presented it, perhaps it'll give her another perspective, from another woman. But let me just rewind back to what the conversation that, that you started it off with. I think what it is that a lot of people aren't aware, of how they're being perceived when they go on social media. Like I would say perhaps it's easier, like for men, we can kind of blend in, like people wouldn't see it when they see us. They wouldn't know this guy's a Muslim. But as a sister, as a Muslim woman who is obviously wearing the Islamic attire, it just jumps out, So that's why like some people may not be aware of, that they're doing vlogging perhaps before Islam, and they're just continuing that vlogging after becoming a Muslim. They don't see that, hey, you know what? Now I might be perceived differently in terms of what I do. And this is why a lot of the criticisms come in, like I remember back in the days, when especially, obviously you see all these, Muslim sister hijabs doing these heavy makeup tutorials. You would just like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And obviously you see that reflected even in the comments, but it could be that they're not aware, that, hey, like, okay, you're a Muslim. What are you doing? Are you trying to present Islam? Like, are you giving dawah? A lot of times they're not giving dawah, it's just like they're putting it's like a vlogging lifestyle, like that's what people do. It gets views, it gets revenues, they make money out of it. And for some, that's what it is. For some sisters, that's what it is, but they don't like think that, hey, you know what? I'm a Muslim, there has to be a sort of responsibility. I mean, this is like as the what's the other brother that came, pardon my memory, in terms of the brother with Dawah, brother Khalil, like he knows his objective when he became Muslim. I have to give dawah. This is what I need to do as a Muslim. This is my priority. I need to tell other people about this deen. But those who are doing these makeup tutorial, that's not perhaps their goal. I think they need to be perhaps reminded, and sometimes some people don't do the best job in reminding them. They just go ahead and just like, call them out with names. But I think it's important to understand, like, what are they, what is their objectives, like in terms of what they're doing, and like they also have to see themselves, like how are they being perceived. And at the same time, I think some people, like as you mentioned, the baby Muslims, they may have perspectives, like, and some people are good at sharing perspectives. They have a good articulate ability. So even though they may be baby Muslims, when they became Muslim, they want to share this experience, in terms of their journey and what they've learned, something beneficial. This is something perhaps, they're gifted with this, and I mean, I can tell you, bro Ali, we go way back, back in the Pal Talk days. Yeah, like when you came on, you had that ability. You can speak, you can articulate yourself. You may not have known, you may not have studied under, but you have that articulate ability. When you speak, there is I would say, a formal authority. People look at and look up to you, say, you know what, he knows what he's talking about. Some people have that ability. They can be influencers. So you can be a baby Muslim, but if you're a positive influencer, and obviously, stay in your lane, not saying that, you should talk about things that, you don't know about, but as long as you do that,
Exactly.
then you're good.
You're not going to see me talk about fiqh.
Let me paint a scenario real quick. I have 4 boys and I have 3 daughters. Now, being a Muslim in the West and being a Muslim woman or a little girl in the West is extremely hard. Let me just paint a picture real quick. I'm imagining my daughter, Ahlam. She's 18 years old right now. Do you believe that, Abu Mujaddid? 18 years old. My little
SubhanAllah. I remember when you met her when they came for the first time to see you in New York. Yeah. She was tiny. I remember her eyes were just like, I just remember her just tiny. SubhanAllah, 18. Wow.
So she's 18 right now. So little girls growing up in the West as Muslims, they definitely go through challenges. Big time, more than boys, because the hijab is a flag. I am Muslim. There's no
absolutely.
I can't hide it. This is my flag. Our women are like the flags of Islam, and so although I don't agree with it fully, I can imagine something in my mind as you were saying that, as the sister was saying it as well, where and to my knowledge, this doesn't exist right now, but my little girl is someone who loves to braid her hair. She's mixed black and white. So she loves to braid her hair and just loves everything about hair. And so I'm wondering if there would be a channel where there would be a Muslim woman. Look, I don't agree with it, but just hear me out. There would be a Muslim woman, maybe from Ethiopia, that is saying, hey, assalamu alaikum, guys. My name is Aisha, and this is my sister Fatima. And the girl starts to braid her hair, and say, did you know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you get what I'm saying? Like she does a video where she talks about Islam. She doesn't have her hijab on, but she's doing something of interest to little girls. Now, is it right? Is it okay? Is it a step in the right direction? What do you guys think? It's a tough one.
Man, you laid it on us, brother.
I think it's the same question I've heard in Christianity.
Go ahead.
I feel like I've heard that same question in Christianity. Like, how far do we go with the compromises we're willing to make in Dawah? I feel like that's like I mean, and I don't know exactly that there's the best answer. I think there's some people that would say if it's giving exposure at all to Islam, then mashallah. And then there's people who would say it's a misrepresentation of Islam, so we ought not do it this way. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, because I think that's the 2 ways it could go, though.
Because here's the thing. Here's the polar opposite. Our kids are different. They, they're, like I said, they're out for dopamine and the 1 to 2 second clips, and then there's another, and then there's a zoom in, and you have to keep people, entertained in the video. My thing is, her watching a video from Merciful Servant, for example, where they do 3 to 5 minute videos, maybe 1, 2, 3, and they don't compromise. But this is something that maybe the kids will not be interested in, and she might. I know my daughter, if she was 12 years old or something like that, and she saw an Ethiopian girl braiding hair and talking about Islam, she's going to watch every day, and she's going to learn about Islam. Me being an ex-Christian, like, I totally know where you're going with where do we stop? I mean, for God's sake. But 15 years ago, I was in Seattle area at a masjid, and these Christians pulled up. You won't freaking believe what they did. Wallahi Adim, I swear by Allah that this happened. These Christians in a white van went across the street from the masjid, and we're all outside posted up. And they get out of the car, and these are like white dudes, you know, white dudes and like a couple of Hispanics. And they got out and they looked like gang members because it was a gang area. And they look so goofy, man, because you know they're trying to be something that they're not. So we're like this. God, y'all look so goofy. And they actually get up and they put some Christian hip hop music on, and they're like, JC, JC. And we just start laughing, man. All of us were just like on the pavement laughing. And that was so cringe that I've never been cringe in my life ever like that before. And I've never laughed like that hard in my life ever before till I almost died, man. I got out of the van, and this was like a crip area, and they're like, JC, you know, for Jesus Christ, the viewers out there that don't understand Christian goofy nonsense. But that I get, that's too far, and that's ridiculous.
Mm.
We're talking about a little girl, a 19, 20-year-old girl braiding hair and talking about Islam. Is that okay? Because there is a woman, young lady, on TikTok right now. Maybe you know who she is. She's Palestinian. She's up. But some of the things that she said are very compelling, and I can see a lot of younger youth women that would say, I like her, and I want to listen to her. Where's the difference between where we let that happen and we support it, or when we say, okay, these kids are getting addicted to these women that are without hijab, makeup, whatever, and talk about Islam? What do we do? Anybody can chime in. Go ahead.
What you said, brother, reminds me. I don't know if you've seen him before. I think, Medina, you've seen him before. There's a guy on the internet who walks around and he goes, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You've seen him before? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that story reminded me of. Is I just see that guy jumping out of the van doing that. But yeah, there is a line, but I think that line depends on one, where you're at in the world. I think that there's a lot of Western Muslims who have come from this liberalistic way of life, and they don't exactly know, now that they've accepted Islam. Like for me personally, I'll be straight honest with you. When I first became a Muslim, I even said on a stream that I want to be the most liberal Muslim that's out there. And then that's funny. Once I learned more and more about Islam, I was like, man, I really wish I could go back and change what I said, because that's not at all what Islam is about. It's not about, being like, people live their lives and do whatever they want. Like, at the end of the day, they have to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment and stand before him alone. So, I mean, I'm down for, Islam not being a compulsive religion. I'm down for, what the Quran teaches, that we shouldn't force people into these things. But at the same time, we shouldn't be trying to adhere to the Western world when it's almost like Paul in the Bible, where Paul says, to the Jew, I was a Jew. To the person who held to the law, I held to the law. Like basically pretending to be somebody I'm not, to try and win somebody over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like a lot of churches now, like throw rainbow flags up, LGBTQ plus, like that's crossing the line, I think, to what Christianity has always. Their values. They're giving up their values to try to adhere to the Western social society to try and win people over. I think that's where I would cross the line. Like, I don't think that there should be a LGBTQ plus masjid. out there like that. No.
But there is, though.
I know.
I mean, what was it, like 8
Soprano
years?
law.
When was it, Abu Mujaddid? We were when I lived in the Bronx. You remember that?
Are you talking about like the there was one, I think, in Virginia or Washington D.C. There's a gay imam over there, but I'm not sure if there's a masjid. But there used to be organizations for sure.
No, I'm talking about Amina.
Wudu, yeah. I mean, they performed that in a church because no masjid would give them venues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, atrocious.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I mean, okay, what we can get into that if you want. I mean, how do you think we got to that point where Muslims actually thought it would be, or these progressive Muslims thought it would be a good idea to, you know what, the world is changing, everything is inclusive this, inclusive that, liberal this, liberal that. You know what, Muslims need to pray side to side, men and women. You guys all saw the videos, you saw the nonsense and the, you know, I mean, there's ladies making sujood, you know, butt up in the air right in front of a dude behind them. And the whole thing is just a mess. I mean, you look at their salah and you just think, what a mess. How the heck did we get here, man? You know, My question is that a result of us trying to be like the Christians and win people over by these influences?
I don't know how to say this. Babe, you might have to help me. Because I want to say this really bluntly, but I don't want to be crass. I don't want to be in sujood, face down, bottom up, with a man behind me. Period. End of story. Like, and that's and I think the beauty of Islam is when you understand why, because it gives reasons why. When you understand why things are the way that they are, they're really beautiful. And I think that kind of runs into the F word that is almost as bad as the S word, feminism and submission. And I think that it really kind of leads into those discussions. I will say that I think Western feminism is misogynistic. I will say, I can explain that if you would like. I will say that Islam is feminist in the true meaning of feminism. And I would say that that there's just a lot of misinterpretation and misguidance. So I would say that Western feminism is misogynistic because it objectifies women. It encourages women to objectify themselves. And in that way, I find it very misogynistic because it's not looking at the woman as a whole person. It's trying to have her operate in the masculine, right? And I've done that. I've been a single mom. I've operated in the masculine. I wrote a dang book about it, okay? I
What's your book, by the way? Plug it up. Go ahead.
Oh no, I have to rewrite it now that I'm a Muslim. There's a section I definitely have to rewrite about like dating and relationships. So we'll get there. But I honestly I think when women really are honest with themselves, we want to be known more than we want to be seen. And we equate in Western society being seen with being known. It's a counterfeit.
Wow.
It's a counterfeit. I think that Islam is truly feminist because it gives us the opportunity to remove the static and to be known. And like it just blows my mind. I don't know if you saw my revert or if you know anything about me, but Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, was my catalyst into Islam. Because I was in the same position. I was single mom, you know, like making things happen, running with getting my bag, all that. I was getting my bag. It was the bag of babies and the bachelors, and that's all I cared about, right? And so that I was really in that mindset. And so when someone made mention of her and I started researching more into her, I'm like, okay, so we can be like this bad and still be in submission to God.
Yep.
Like that was big for me. And then not only that, but like to be that bad and still find a man worth submitting to, in the sense of like, and this is the thing. I think women are so willing to accept counterfeits, and Islam doesn't make you accept counterfeits. Like, we want two things. We want to feel safe from the world with you, and we want to feel safe with you. So if we only feel safe from the world, that's where we go for bad boys, right? If we only feel safe with you, that's where we get sissies, okay? But when we have both, that's where you start to develop the trust to allow this person to be the masculine that he is, so that you can embrace and feel safe enough to be in your feminine. That's the beauty. I'm going to cry again. That's the beauty of Islam.
To enjoy being a woman, to see strength, to see being a woman as a strength.
Yes.
And not a position of men. I agree.
Right. And we have so many women in Islamic history. You know, we see Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, and Aisha and Fatima. We see these women. We see that the first person to found a university was a Muslim woman. We see this. So it drives me bonkers. I made a TikTok about it too, and it went a little mini viral. That when people say we're weak-minded, or that like that submission and strength are antithetical. Khalil was there, and Friendly Muslim was there. Like I really gave that Christian guy a run for his money, because I don't accept baloney. Okay, I just stuck for Allah, but I don't accept trash. I don't accept subjugation. I don't accept those things, because until this is the difference in Islam for men. I think in Christianity, men are given authority with no responsibility, no prescription for that. All they say is love your wives as Christ loved the church. That's all they get. There's no prescription. But in Islam, we have a prescription. We know what it looks like. And so in Islam, when our men, follow the sunnah, are in submission to Allah, then their men we're submitting to. It just, that is a passion topic for me, and I could keep going, but let's bring it back.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit to Khadija radiallahu anha. I think we're getting to another topic, but that's fine. I think that some women think that they look up to Khadija radiallahu anha as, yeah, that's the boss lady right there. Yeah, she didn't need a man. She didn't. I think they take it a little bit too far,
right?
When they make Khadija their poster girl, for lack of a better term,
Right.
If you really get to, because this is the thing, women see the life of Khadija, they read a hadith and they say, I know everything about Khadija now. I read that one hadith about Khadija and I know that she is a boss lady. That's it. And I don't need a man, and I'm going to go get my bag, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And they say, but if you really, really know her, and study her, and how she did business, and why she married Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the type of person that she was, and where she got her money from inheritance, and from there to, she didn't. I think that people think, or women think that, Khadija went out, into the streets of Mecca and said, hey, boy, hey, go do this. Yeah, you do this, and over here. Yeah. No, put that down and put it over there. Do it now. Go. I think that they think that's what she was like, but it's so far removed from the truth, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, if you really look up to Khadija like you did, you studied her, and you knew the kind of person that she was feminist. And when I say feminist, I mean, third, fourth wave feminist. She was a woman who saw value in a man, while also she knew her lane at the same time, and she loved her lane. She loved being in her lane, and she felt safe in her lane because her man was in his lane, and everything was greased up and ready to go. I mean, it was smooth sailing.
That's exactly it. And the thing is, let me just lay this out. When Khalil and I met, I had my own house.
Story
I had
time.
my own. What's that?
Story time.
Story time. I had my own house. I had my own car, 2 jobs, worked hard. I was a bad broad, like literally that, like the song was my life, right? So when we met, did I need a man for material things? No. Besides the fact that I was exhausted from operating in the masculine, I had everything that I needed. And quite honestly, I think when we look at sisters who want to ask for these big dowries and they want all of this from men, listen to me, sisters. If you are unwilling to get it for yourself, you should be unwilling to ask a man for it. Okay, moving on. And so when we met, I mean, he knew. I mean, you can tell him, like, he knew that I had materialistically, logistically for my life what I needed. But I'm probably gonna cry again.
Cry away. Get the tissue. This needs to be heard. We need to. The women need to hear a woman who was a single woman with kids, doing her own thing, getting her own bags, and then met a real man. We need to hear this. Let him hear. Take your time.
Because I needed him in ways that I didn't even know. Because when you have a man who acts like a man, who fulfills that, and you know what that looks like, because he doesn't beat his chest, hear me roar, he doesn't say, submit to me. He just behaves in a way that makes it so easy and fluid. I needed him in ways I didn't know. And so one of those being the safe place to rest my masculine and give that to him. And he'll tell you, like, it was hard for me. Well, I don't know, maybe you want to just tell them. It was really hard for me in the beginning to even ask you for anything. Do you remember? Like, I had a hard time asking him to even get up and get me a drink, or I didn't ask you for anything. And then it got to the point where I asked you for everything because I realized I was safe. I wasn't going to be let down. I could trust that you had my best interest in mind. And when we got married, we both got COVID. So we got a 3-week COVID honeymoon, which was kind of cool because we got to stay home with each other for 3 weeks. And because we had only done our investigation for a week. So I was like, hey, did you notice the sister trying to set us up? And he was like, no. And I was like, he's like, but I wouldn't be opposed. And I was like, bet. And he was like, bet, So like literally, and then he's like, are we really doing this? I'm like, I guess we are. So a week later we were married. And so it was really.
Yeah, that experience.
It was crazy.
The scariest thing, but also the most validating experience of my life, going from I was an atheist for 12 years. I was in the military. Like, there was no, I mean, I don't know how to, there was no standards, right? I did what I wanted. Was in 2 marriages. We both been married twice before, and she had said something when we first got married that just blew my mind. She said, I've had 2 husbands, but I've never had a partner. 2 husbands, but haven't had a partner. And I was like, I've had 2 wives, but never actually had a partner. And because how it all starts off with is physical. Oh, what do you look like? Mm-hmm. Oh, let's test drive the car and see if the car is something that I want to buy, right? Yeah. And that objectifies the woman. And then through Islam, we met. We had spoken. I had given her a call a few times, afterwards to say, hey, I got some sisters. I found out she was only an hour away from me, where we lived. We actually technically met on TikTok because I was giving dawah. She was interested. She fell on Muslim TikTok, found me, found a couple of other Muslim brothers and sisters giving dawah, and she started to come on and ask questions. She was real curious. And the next thing you know, she's like, hey, so I'm in Dayton. And then I was banned from TikTok for a week because for hateful behavior.
When I gave my shahada, he did not give me my shahada. He didn't even know I took it, and I was otherwise engaged, and he was otherwise, interested.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were talking like that.
Other marriages. So I was like, I'm just gonna hook you up with some sisters at the mosque to where you live, and things like that. And next thing you know, both of our possible marriages had fallen through, and
because I became Muslim. Actually, mine fell through because I became Muslim.
We met one day, and we went out, and it wasn't like we went out and we had halal lunch. Went to a halal soul food place. Hook fish and chicken, and then I took her to my masjid, and we prayed. We prayed at the masjid, and we sat and spoke for like over 50 hours.
Over that week period. Yeah, it was quite a bit.
Yeah, and then a week. What's that?
50 hours straight?
No. All put together within that next week, we spoke about 50 hours. Literally, like going over. This is what I have to offer. This is what I expect. This is what I want. These are my goals. And then looking at the other person.
These are my traumas and triggers too.
Exactly. These are what my traumas are. These are things I've gone through in my past, like on a very professional level without ever seeing her. She's covered. I don't know what she looks like I usually would with another woman. And I got to learn who she was before I ever, the physicalities of it were put on the back burner. And I got to learn who she was, and we professionally brought ourselves together and said, hey, will this work? It was almost like a business plan.
It was great. Like, hey, this is what I got. This is what you got. Yes, no. Like it was literally so easy. And it's interesting because, I appreciate the respect he gave me when, we had just finished eating. We were outside. We were waiting to go to the masjid. And he was like, I just want you to know that, the hijab is a command of Allah. And, I would hope that you would, but I'm not going to tell you, that, if you choose not to, that I'm not going to be here. Right. Along those lines. And I was like, well, thank you for the permission that I didn't need, but I plan to cover. And a week later, I asked you a question. And what was that?
You asked me a lot of questions.
I do a lot, actually.
You forgot that.
I asked you how you felt about the hijab, like about a week after we were married.
Oh, yeah. No, I basically think that the hijab is actually a gift for me because through regular relationships and marriage and stuff like that, you have the whole discussion of, well, this is something special that I get with my wife that nobody else gets, right? Well, sure. But now I get an extra gift of being the only person that knows what my wife looks like under her hijab. I get to play with her hair and I get to brush it and I get to, see what it looks like when she wakes up in the morning.
Oh my God.
And that's for me. That's for me.
Y'all can
So
join y'all can join Maliki's daughter and start braiding each other's hairs. Assalamu alaikum, I'm back, and I just saw something in the comments that is absolutely despicable. Some clown named M. Jimbo destroying the honor of our scholars like Qaradawi rahimahullah. Absolutely disgusting. You're a pusillanimous, ultra-crepidarian weasel for doing that. Absolutely despicable. Honestly, though, I don't want to cause fitna on here, but the shit you're saying, man, this is not Islam. Get the hell out of here with that BS. Respect these senior scholars that are leagues ahead of you. leagues. You will never amount to even the dirt on their shoes. I promise you that. I promise you.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
It's not shots fired. It's haqq is what it is. It's truth.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah. Anyways, back to braiding hair.
No, take yourself.
Hell out of here with that bullshit, boy.
Hold on. Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it.
Sorry.
I was just smiling when you guys were doing your back and forth and talking about how you guys met and like the breakdown of, is this going to work? Yeah. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I love it when Muslims can find each other this way. Alhamdulillah. I'm a big fan. I think that you guys did it the right way, and I think that a lot of other people need to do it the right way as well. Because this is like 110% exactly how I found my wife. I didn't meet her on TikTok. I met her in a Maliki fiqh class in Safina Society. But we need to, when we look to our prospective spouse, we need to be having conversations just like this. Wait a minute. And like I always say, I'd rather companionship over love any day, because love will have you doing, thinking, and saying some stupid things. What I mean by that is before marriage. You can love each other when you get married and after marriage, the love grows. But I think that as Muslims, a lot of people really focus on the, oh, I'm so in love with you, and oh my God, I dedicate this song to you, and the corny stuff that you might do when you're married. That's fine when you're married, but I think that just like I had a conversation with my wife, you had a conversation with your wife. I said, okay, let's just be black and white right here, no gray areas. What are you looking for? We can have a discussion without, it resembling a business contract, which is exactly what marriage is. But, we can finesse it a little bit. I just think that people need to be having conversations of, okay, look, you like me, I like you. Okay, that's fine. You're beautiful. I'm handsome. Okay. Will we work? That's all.
They're unwilling to be honest with themselves in order to have that honest conversation with the other person.
Right.
If you're not honest with yourself, you can't have that honest conversation with the other person.
And so many people, men and women, when they meet other people, prospective spouses, they present the best example of themselves. But you're not that guy.
Don't do that.
You're not that guy. You're not that woman. Okay? You're just trying. And look, we all know that I'm going to find out about you anyway. And then and when I do find out, I'm going to say,
oh gosh, he unmuted.
That was part of our discussion. Let me let you know right now before we get married. This is how I can be toxic. This is what I do wrong. This is what I know that I do wrong, and I'm working on it. I want you to know that this is how I am before you get involved with me. And she did the same thing for me.
We even now, like, it's so funny because Allahu Alam, if I look at the person that I can see he was before revert and vice versa, no. And like I wouldn't have been able to stand him and he wouldn't have been able to stand me, like just straight up. And like even now when we, like, I don't know if you want to talk about what happened on like last Sunday. But like we literally had a heated discourse, and to me, because I'm traumatized by men yelling, I don't like that. Which is why I don't tolerate Christian men speaking over me. Go ahead, babe.
Did I yell?
Listen, don't even do that. No, you didn't yell. I did. I yell. And it's one of those things where I wasn't going to get that into it. Thank you. But it was where we got to a point in the heatedness of it where it was like, I think we're both perpetuating really toxic behaviors. Like, we literally said that out loud. And that kind of opened the door of humility in the conversation to where it was easier to kind of like take that step back and breathe and then move forward in where the misunderstanding happened instead of perpetuating that toxicity.
We do kind of like the same thing over here. My wife is so just Assalamu alaikum. She's real gentle. She doesn't yell at all. But when we
that's him.
when we get mad, the first thing that we do, this is something I've been doing in my house. We go make wudu and we make 2 rakahs next to each other. We just extinguish as soon as possible. Anything. Let's just take a break. And when we take a break, let's just make wudu and make 2 rakahs with each other. And in that salah, you kind of diffuse. For me, I don't know if it works for anybody else, but that's what
we do. The same thing. We literally do the same thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We literally agreed to that before we got married. If we're fighting and we are just beyond, we go pray. We go put our face on the mat.
Perfect.
And then finish it. You don't just put it to the side,
right?
No.
Because then it builds up. And then it
Resentment
becomes a fight
kills
that you don't
marriages.
care about salah. You don't care about making sunnah, right? You finish the problem, but what you do is you pray 2 rakat and you make dua. Please, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please grant me sabr. Please grant me the ability to not say anything that's attempting to trigger my partner. We're looking for a resolution, not to escalate.
Yeah.
So we de-escalate with salah, and then we finish the problem. We come to an agreement. We agree to disagree, whatever it may be, and we let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us.
And when you humble yourself in front of Allah, it's a lot easier to humble yourself in front of your partner.
Right. I mean, we do the same thing over here where you can't leave it alone. These problems are not going to go away. And a matter of fact, if you leave them alone, the shaitan is going to whisper to you even more, and you're going to be potentially even more calm, but more resentful in your heart. So I always told my wife before, and this is another thing that I really encourage younger people to speak about, is conflict resolution. It's important. It's vital. It's essential inside of a marriage. And I said, look, if you need a break, tell me. I can completely shut down and give you the time that you need, 10, 15 minutes, half hour. But you have the intention of coming back, and we will, with the intention of resolving this, not, getting back into the courtroom and trying to win the argument, but really saying, okay, you've had your piece, and okay, how can we solve this? How can we solve it? So
that was funny.
What happened?
I left slightly. I turned my camera off. I'm the debater. I'm the guy that's always got to be right about everything all the time. That's one of my toxic traits, is that I'm very stubborn and hard-headed.
But I don't know if you want to share what you apologized for, but I think it's kind of important. I don't know if you want to, but remember, after that heated discourse, and I called you on something, and you were like, what? And then later you apologized for it. And the fact that you apologized for it made me feel safe. So I don't know if you want to share what that was.
Yeah, I was gaslighting the heck out of her in the discussion.
And I called him on it.
Yeah, I was being very, I was gaslighting. Like, I was like, all right, well, and knowing that was one of her, yeah, that was, and I admitted to it. I didn't necessarily know that I was doing it at the time, but now when she called me out on it, instead of automatically getting defensive
and gaslighting me further,
I collected my thoughts. I said, how did this discussion go? Wow, that came out of my mouth, and that came out of my mouth, and that came out of my mouth. okay, I wasn't the one yelling, but I was the one that was perpetuating toxicity. Now, am I going to humble myself to let my wife know I realize what I did and I will attempt to be better in the future rather than continuing?
I think that's why? Because a lot of people, both men and women, recognize voice volume as the aggressor when you can be micro aggressive or what do they call it? Passive aggressive.
It's a great point.
Or gaslighting. Because I'm the one that does that. I mean, I have a very, I don't say I'm an alpha, but I'm a sigma. I'm a sigma male. And volume to me is everything. And I'm the guy that says, you should lower your voice a little bit because I'm talking. You know what I mean? So I kind of got to check myself when I'm hearing this from YouTube. Like, you don't have to raise your voice to be aggressive. You can gaslight. You can say hurtful things just like this. You can say it just like this. It can hurt somebody's feelings and have them.
It's almost worse.
Yeah. So
it's almost worse because when I'm yelling, there's an actual like.
Assalamu alaikum to Michael over here. He just joined.
Wa alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Bro.
There's almost like it's a visible, right? But when you're very calm and you're just gaslighting very calmly, it is infuriating. And then when you're infuriated because of those microaggressions, you raise your voice and then you're gaslit for raising your voice, and it is the most, I'm like, you wonder why I'm raising my voice. It's because this is why. And it's just, you have to be willing to have those conversations. Look, my Italian hands. This is why I raised my voice. Because you have to be willing to have those conversations. I did not realize I talked with my hands so much. Wow. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. And it's uncomfortable. And I think for me, because I didn't value myself the correct way in my former relationships, I didn't have the same valuation of myself because I was seen and not known. I was afraid of conflict. I would just ate the crap until it was just, the resentment was so high, it was irreparable. And you can't, it's so uncomfortable. He will tell you. That's why yelling feels safe, because then it makes me feel like I'm not in the vulnerable position. Ooh.
Yeah. Now, let me say something real quick. This BS that infiltrates the ummah of fanning or fueling the fire of sectarianism. Then I myself am a proud Wahhabi, as if everyone else doesn't follow the Quran and Sunnah, as if it's one specific group. And then these people, they start to take ownership of certain scholars of the past as if they own them. and they actually misrepresent them, and they most likely never read their books. And who's propagating the false information? Ignorant youth, 16-year-olds on YouTube, and it's just ridiculous. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's just.
Are you talking about the comments? Because I'm like,
yes.
Yeah,
the comments are absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, I'm about to parent them. I'm about to parent you. I'm about to mom you, because literally I'm watching the chat and we're having such a fruitful discussion, and literally you're arguing about sectarianism. Listen to me. Take our advice. Go make wudu. Go get in sujood. Relax. Because the way that you're interacting with one another is not merciful. It's not kind. It's not sunnah.
I can barely
go humble yourselves before Allah before you keep. This is not the ummah.
Could I add something? Could I contribute to the actual conversation? I mean, that's fine for him to tell them off, but
blame the hurricane.
So conflict resolution styles, right? I read about that before, and so I think everyone should look into it, basically. But there are, I believe, 4 different styles. There's the validating style, which is more to just kind of openly talk in a logical way. Then there's the kind of the slow kind of I need to think about this on my own for a little while. Then there's kind of the one who bottles things up and then gets really loud. Then there's also some types that are like, I'm probably getting it wrong, but then there are some that are, that are just, I believe what they call it volatile. And I was thinking, and so volatile means, like just very emotional. And I was thinking about this for a little while because I'm kind of more of a validating type. I like to just talk through things like, just to try to figure everything out right now. And I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, but worst case, would I prefer that someone be very emotional or for someone not to talk about things? And I actually realized I'd prefer if someone was very emotional, because at least I would know that there's something going on. I might really miss someone, I might really miss what they're saying, what they're trying to get at, if they're not going to tell me anything. But that's just my own sort of reflection on that.
Yeah, nobody wants a robot. Yeah.
What's that?
I said nobody wants to be married to a robot. You want to see some...
Oh, they better avoid me then, I guess, but I'm kidding.
Let's see, we got a question.
Oh, you mean to be quiet? Yeah. Bottle it up.
Woman, Muslim, should I repent to Allah for this? Yeah, we got some individuals up in this live stream.
What is that?
Repent for what?
What is that even supposed to mean?
What does that question even mean, dude? Can
What
I
is all
marry
this
a Muslim
supposed to
woman?
mean?
Yes and no.
Can you marry a Muslim woman? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
There you go. You've answered yourself.
Should I repent to Allah for wanting a married?
Well, here's the first question. Here's the first question. Can I marry a revert woman Muslim? Are you Muslim yourself? Because if you're not Muslim, then she cannot marry you.
Ayo.
Indeed. Yes, Snake Juice. Very good reply indeed. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, how did the whole I wasn't around for a little while. How did it turn out? Are we telling the new reverts to stop making dawa or not?
They've all deleted their accounts promptly right after.
You missed.
We still have Khalil though. Oh, the girl left. She just deleted hers.
No, I'll be back inshallah. I'll be right back. Kids.
Yo, brother Ali, how are you doing this with people with their camera off? They're not showing up on the screen.
With what?
Like when people turn their camera off,
yeah,
they're not on the screen.
Yeah,
but you still hear their voice.
I know, but how does that work?
I don't know. They let 6 people on, and so people. It doesn't matter if 5 of them are on audio or 1 is on camera like me. They can still sit on the stage.
Yeah. That see, I have StreamYard myself, and I do streams almost 3-4 times a week. But when they turn their camera off, it just shows up with like an emblem on the screen. They're still on the screen, and you can see their emblem. But with you, when somebody turns their camera off, you can just hear their voice. They're not actually on, like, their emblem's not on the screen.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
13 Pro. Maybe it's because of that.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check and see if there's like an update or something, because yeah, that would actually be cool for my call-in shows, because most people that call in, they don't have their camera on. And it would be cool to have the 2 hosts with their cameras on and just a voice talking like a regular call-in show.
I didn't know if you did something special for that or not.
I have no idea what I can guarantee you I don't know what I'm doing, bro. I'm so new to this. So the guy that asked the question said, yes, he's a Muslim. Why wouldn't you marry a revert, bro? Why?
I mean, take the word revert out of it. I'm a Muslim. Can I marry a Muslim? I mean, I don't understand.
Yes, you can. And no, you don't need to repent to Allah for completing your deen.
I've never before.
Dude, Ali, you should see some of that.
Wanting to marry a revert. I never heard that.
You should see some of the questions that get asked on Reddit Islam.
Oh,
you ever want to bang your head in the wall?
No thanks.
I just this one isn't too bad, but I just saw it the other day. My buddy sent me it. Somebody was asking, "Can I be friends with a non-Muslim?"
What?
Can I be friends with a non-Muslim? I mean, that one's not too bad.
No, that's actually an objection to Islam. They use the whole idea of don't take Christians and Jews as allies. You know, they try and use that verse to say that we're not allowed to be friends with non-Muslims. You know.
Yeah, but this dude was presumably Muslim. I mean, if you look at even his history, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah, there was somebody who said, let's see, question about accidentally getting intoxicated. No, that was whatever.
Hopefully, there are no jinn stories there.
Oh boy.
Yo, I agree, man. Those are the worst.
How do you accidentally get intoxicated?
Let's see what he said. My buddy just sent me this. He said,
"Did you have too much cough syrup?"
Yeah, he said, if one consumes a product that claims to not cause intoxication, and if the person has no intention of getting intoxicated, then he takes the product and goes to a masjid to pray, and in the middle of his salat, he starts feeling easily distracted with thoughts and trouble concentrating and drowsiness. And he writes signs of little intoxication. And he says, is he sinful, and will his prayer not be accepted for 40 days? So that's one of them.
Wow.
I think we as Muslims think way too much. That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like, just don't get near it. Allah says in the Quran, not only to not do these, it's haram, but don't even get close to them. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, for sure. This guy wrote, did I accidentally commit shirk? Assalamu alaikum. I was in my room listening to khutbahs talking about Allah Azza wa Jal when a friend phoned me. As I answered, instead of saying hello, my tongue slipped and I said Allah. I quickly corrected myself and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me. Did I commit accidental shirk? I don't even
Oh man.
I'm sorry, man. I know it's not. I don't know, man. If whether to laugh or.
How high are you? I mean, hi. How are you?
For real. Oh man.
Wow.
He was.
Where are these from?
Oh, this one's the cream of the crop. Does repeatedly doing minor kufr make it major kufr? Similarly, with minor nifaq, major nifaq.
Yes, I love it.
What is that?
Do we need
a mathematical equation? If I do 20 minor sins, does it make equal a major? Oh,
honestly, not far from it, man. That's totally possible.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, we don't have the scales. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the scales, so it's hard to judge that. If we knew the scales, then we would be able to know, all right, I'm in the green or I'm in the red. I need to do this many things to get into the green. And then if I want to, I can mess up and do some of these few things because I have some room. I have some room to play with. We don't have that.
Wiggle room for the sin department.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's also one of the wisdoms of not knowing when your death is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. Well, hey, let's wrap it up for the night. Inshallah, we'll go clockwise. We'll go to Khalil, then Medina, Michael, Snake Juice, and Friendly Muslim. 30 to 60 seconds of what you got from tonight, what you want to say to the Muslims in a nutshell. Go ahead, Khalil.
Yeah. First off, I want to thank you, brother, for having me on a stream. It's absolutely a pleasure. The more I speak with you, the more I love you for the sake of Allah. Basically, tonight we started off. I kind of came in and we were talking about brand new reverts giving dawa, which I am one of those. But I think we brought up some good points on what is okay to speak about, what is not okay to speak about, where we know where our lane should be. We also got into, women giving dawa and things like that. I think we brought up some good points there. Also, we need to know where our limits are, where our lane is, and what our intention should be. So I think there was a lot of good information for reverts and also for born Muslims. I think these conversations, like you said, brother, are very, very important, and I think we should continue to have them, inshallah. Absolutely. To you, Medina.
I also want to thank you for having me on the stream, and I appreciate my husband staying as my wali. I really appreciated the questions that you asked. I really liked the deep thoughtfulness of them, and I appreciated just the platform to speak on behalf of a dawa giving sister revert, and just the ability to share our story and what it really means to submit to Allah when it comes to relationships and in dawa and in the ummah. So thank you.
Before we go to Michael, Khalil, why don't you tell them your YouTube channel?
Jazakallah. Thank you very much, brother. Yeah, so obviously EA Dawah on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, Clubhouse. I have discussions and debates with hopefully getting more towards academics. I've already had a debate with a reverend. We've actually scheduled a secondary debate on the incarnation. I specialize in talking about Christianity on a philosophical level. So you may or may not like the content that's on my channel because it's very deep, a lot of philosophical jargon, a lot of thought experiments, a lot of metaphysical discussion. So if it's something that you may like, please go ahead and check the channel out. If you find it, appeasing to you.
If it hurts your brain, you can come to my channel.
Yeah.
So my channel is Medina Dawah. It's my name. And right now I'm going through a segment on that I call Hijab Talk, and we're going through Secrets of Divine Love. It is one of the books that was instrumental in bringing me to Islam. And just in bite-sized pieces going through it and talking about it. Then also we'll be hosting what's called Sisters Corner, where we're going to have a panel much like this of sisters, both revert and born Muslims, where we can learn from each other and talk about what it really means in real life. Like, how does it translate when you've got 2 sick kids and you're like, when do you make salat? Like, if you've got puke on you, do you have to make wudu? Like, just things like this. What does it translate to in real life? And things like this. This is what we're talking about. So my channel is Medina Dawah, and thanks for letting me plug. That's nice.
I'm all about the plug, man. I just think that the whole world is against us, and we need to really band with like-minded individuals and Muslims, whether it be businesses or Dawah channels, YouTube channels, whatever. I really think that the time for petty differences needs to be swept away, and we need to start from grassroots and build. And I consider this channel building, Khalil's channel building, Medina Dawah's channel building. So I appreciate you. You said you appreciate me having you. I always love when you two come. Inshallah, you bring some flavor to the show. Jazakallah khair. Michael, go ahead. 30 to 60 seconds. What do you got?
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Well, thanks for having me on here. I'm new to streaming on any type of platform or joining in, but it's interesting to hear your thoughts on reverts and then just kind of coming around to the idea that, well, maybe I should, for the longest time, I kind of avoided a lot of social media platforms, but and just kind of hid in the shadows for so long. But I just I appreciate that you let me stick my feet in a little bit, and and I'll be I just appreciate that there's some different ideas coming out here, and that's about it.
You're one of us. You're always welcome.
Yeah, thank you. All right, assalamu
alaikum. Okay, so we got Snake Juice. Hear it, man. I know you got.
Okay, Bismillah. I wanted to apologize for blurting out stuff in the middle of and derailing the discussion, but I do want to hone in on the fact that as brothers and sisters, we should maintain our unity, and this cannot be overstated enough. And also, we must remember that God holds the deen and the masajid up. It's not us. So we should be one hand united and not divided. Cut the sectarian garbage out, as Brother Maliki said. And at the end of the day, whether we agree with it or not, social media will exist and people will make videos. I think it is incumbent upon each one of us as individuals who hopefully walk on the Sirat al-Mustaqim to try our best to remain steadfast. And even actually the Prophet spoke very little when he spoke, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but his words were absolute gems and treasures every time. And even his following and Sahaba noted every single word down because they knew this was treasures amongst them while they were alive. And I had a buddy actually send me a quote the other day from his dad. He said, a wise man speaks because he has something to say. An ignorant man speaks because he has to speak. Okay, that was cool. Then again, Islam came to take us out of jahiliyyah, out of ignorance, out of racist tendencies and prejudices, out of these tribal mentalities of us versus them. Let's not otherize each other. There's a difference between otherizing the enemy and then otherizing your own brothers and sisters. Let us not regress. Let us not stagnate as the world moves forward and we're, in these petty differences. So let us, carry the torch of Islam and light each other's flames with the haqq of the deen. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he found us lost and guided us. And this is a daily thing that we should be, you know what I mean? So alhamdulillah.
And Snake Juice, I think I heard you say that you do stream a few times a week?
No, I do not. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so Snake Juice, it's always good to see you in the comments. Always good.
You've got a good voice for it, though.
Yeah.
Likewise,
so we'll end off with the Friendly Muslim. Friendly Muslim, take us out, man. 30 to 60 seconds. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, I might just need 2 minutes, brother, because I've been there's so much to say. But I mean, I'm just glad you got a chance to speak to Sister Medina, because I've had the pleasure of hearing her speak, talk to her, watch her on TikTok, Clubhouse, and speak. And kind of within the last 3 weeks, I was like, you need to have your own channel, and people need to be coming to you to hear what you have to say, because you're here, there, and everywhere. And so I'm glad you got a chance to sort of hear her speak, because her voice is important. It's just, yeah. And she's very deep in what she says. It makes us all ponder as brothers in Islam, ponder what she's saying also at times. And seeing her interaction with Brother Khalil, going through the regular grind and continually giving dawah. They both have such a passion for Islam. And when you say do new reverts need to stop doing dawah, sometimes as a Muslim Brooklyn, I saw an ex-Muslim do a video saying, oh, look at this Muslim new revert, she's talking about it. And I clicked on her. I didn't know who she was. And the video I saw was literally had 1.8 million views on it, or 1.6 million views. And that video is her telling me, why didn't anyone tell me about Islam? I've gone through my whole 24 years not understanding about Islam. Why didn't anyone tell me about Islam? I knew God was not a man. I knew that something wasn't right. And that was so profound on me, brother. And so the only reason I found her was because an ex-Muslim was kind of having a dig at her. But then I thought, well, this person left Islam and he's got like 800 subscribers. This girl came into Islam and her voice, her passion, her cry is being heard by 1.6 million. And again, her friends became Muslim. People are coming to Islam because of her journey, from Brooklyn. So alhamdulillah, Allah will guide who He wills. So when we say
that's so powerful, brother, because I also did, when I lived back in Seattle, I did a video called "Stop Bullying Muslim Reverts," and I said in the video, I said her name, that this is the reason why I'm making this video, because oh, she's speaking, you know, and she might put her hands up and oh, there's tattoos on her, and I just said you gotta, you talk to people, you don't know where they come from, and I'm sure that as a Muslim, she doesn't want these tattoos. I don't want my tattoo either, but you know, that's where we are in our deen right now. It doesn't mean that it won't change, but it doesn't give anyone the right to insult them, or you know, Allah's not going to accept your salah. I've heard them say that about her, you know. And so yeah, I thought it necessary to make a video about that as well, you know. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Freddie Muslim.
No, brother. But I mean, you know, again, it's been. Thank you for hosting us. You know, obviously EA Dawah, Medina Dawah, myself, I'm the Friendly Muslim. You'll see me here, there, and everywhere. But you know, I've enjoyed being in your company, brother, hearing you speak and sharing everything that's beneficial to our ummah and to our brothers and sisters in the chat who are going at each other. You know, just remember, we all, you know, there is one Creator. You know, and let us keep ourselves humble when we're dealing with each other, and not get caught up in these, you know, integrations in the chat. You know, take a pause, reflect, you know, and realize that there's some other powerful words happening also around you, you know, and for the stream. So, you know, inshallah, we all learn from these experiences, and we just keep on striving for the sake of Allah and becoming better every day, inshallah.
Before we go, also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, Friendly Muslim. You can catch me on different streams. Plus, I'm co-hosting different streams with different people. So yeah, my content is coming out on a regular basis. So yeah, you'll find me. If you go to EA Dawah, you're gonna find Friendly Muslim. If you go to Medina Dawah, you're gonna find Friendly Muslim. Inshallah, when you go to Friendly Muslim, we're gonna find Maliki Click also, and you know, keep it moving. So inshallah, we're all. And brother, I really second what you say. It is grassroots, you know, and the reason I'm everywhere is to support all our brothers and sisters trying to push this message forward of Islam, support each other, coming on each other's streams, you know, and just all get the message out, and the different experiences out there. So inshallah, Allah makes it easy for us.
Thank you, Ali, and Jazakallah khair for giving a platform for everybody. Yeah,
absolutely. And I just want to say in closing, everybody out there, we have to be, look, everybody has their moments of anger. Everybody has misunderstandings. But we are just existing in this world, moment to moment. I think that the biggest thing that we need to do as Muslims is really humble ourselves and to see and to realize that it's really not worth it. I've gotten to so many things on social media back in the day. I've gotten to conflicts in person with Muslims. I think the best thing that we can do is worry about ourselves. I think I often wonder how people get enough time in the day to point fingers at other people when we ourselves have so many shortcomings within ourselves. Do I mean not to advise each other, to, you know, give nasiha here and there? Excuse me. No, I don't mean that. Excuse me. What I mean is to, everybody has stages in their Islam. There's the new Muslim, there's the born Muslim that is just getting back into Islam and doesn't know too much, and he's going to make mistakes. Just have compassion and mercy for people, right? We're all humans at the end of the day. Write each other a pass. When we make mistakes, we always want to be forgiven. When we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. When we say that, we have a comfort that we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving us and has forgiven us. But it's so hard for a lot of people to forgive each other and to move on. This deen started in Dar al-Arqam with a handful of Muslims in a room, in a small room. And then the Quraysh tried to put out the light of Islam when there was only 313 Muslims on the planet. And they stood strong. And they defeated their enemies and they conquested Mecca years later.
Mm-hmm.
They went through all of that so that we could go through petty nonsense with each other today? No, brother. No. You're going to disagree.
Truth.
I'm going to disagree with you. I might have a disagreement with friendly Muslim or snake juice. I'm not going to call him out of his name, for God's sake. I don't want to, I would not want to have that on the day of judgment of you hurt a Muslim. And what is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The Muslim is the one who the people are safe from his hand and his tongue. Let's think about that. The Muslim is the one who the people are safe from his hand and his tongue. In social media makes it so easy to ruin yourselves, brothers and sisters. Don't be a victim. Don't go back with on the day of judgment with mountains of deeds just to give it away to that person that you offended. Ya Allah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. So let's be humble. Let's all know that we all just come from clay. We're nothing. We are, I love the word evanescent. I love that word. Evanescent. We're temporary. We're fading. And it just, when you know that you're evanescent, you take time and you think about what you say, what you believe, and how you treat people. Because we are evanescent, every single one of us. So it makes it all the more our time valuable, and what do we say, measured and balanced. That's all I have to say to the people watching this video. Barakallah fikum, to the people on the stage that made huge points and dropped gems all over the stage. Jazakumullahu khairan to everybody who contributed to this live stream. Until next time, I'm your host, Maliki Click Ali. You can find my my channel on YouTube. I'm losing my voice. So, barakallah fikum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all. May Allah guide me and guide you and all of us. And may Allah bless you and bless me and all of our families. Everybody say Ameen. Jazakum.
Ameen.
Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam. Beautiful words.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.